Hey everyone. Today I want to talk about building online courses and online businesses. And there are 6 major phases that we go through. And they're all really important. And I've noticed sometimes we get confused which stage we're at. We want to skip a stage. So I'm also going to tell you what I think is like the major challenge for each stage. So let's see where you are today. So, the first thing, really, as we well know, is knowing ourselves, knowing our gifts, our strengths, what our desires and aspirations are, right? And I think the key there is to ask other people. And that can sometimes be something we're shy about, something we're sort of reticent to do. But you've known yourself for a long time. And you might have some misconceptions or false beliefs, so it's really fun to ask other people. Write down what you think your gifts and strengths are. Talk about your aspirations, what you care most about, and then make sure and ask other people to see if you've missed something. Once we have those in our heart, so we hold that closest, right? Because if we don't get to express that, if we don't know who we are and we take on something that we actually don't like doing, for example, the next step isn't going to work. So step number 2 is to listen. And we talk about doing surveys and asking your clients, asking your perfect avatar, the person that you want to work with, what is it that they need? And we ask and listen, and then we ask again. We just keep refining that process, and people love to be listened to. So this one isn't as hard as it seems, but I would say that the biggest challenge here is that people are reticent to do it. They don't want to ask. I'm not quite sure why. Maybe you can tell me in the comments below. Why don't you want to ask people? Why don't you want to survey people? There's some simple tools out there that you can use to survey people, and you just start asking questions. Yeah? Okay? And that keys you in, that turns you toward that perfect place, which is interest in the other. Dedication to serve, commitment to getting something out there for that other person. It takes us out of ourselves. It's a perfect second step. In our third step, we start creating our course. Right? We start creating our offering, whatever it is that we're going to create to sell to someone else in order to serve them and solve their problems. What is the biggest issue, the biggest challenge there? I think absolutely it's that we try to get it perfect the first time around. That's not going to work. I would say know from the beginning that you want to launch something 3 times before you get close to making it perfect. I think I'm on my 4th time, and it's certainly not perfect of launching my course. So try to just get it out there. Even a beta, you could call it beta, which means it's going to be cheaper, and people are expecting that they're going to help you make it perfect. So it's not going to already be perfect. Okay, and then as soon as we're ready to do that, this leads into our launch, where we're there live doing interviews or doing recorded live sessions, anything that we can do to kind of make a party out of it. And this is how we get attention. You guys are all really aware of these launches because everyone's doing them these days. That's kind of how you leverage friendship online. You leverage knowing your client better in a short amount of time, or they know you better, vice versa. And you make that quicker. And so you offer some amazing stuff. Now, the biggest challenge for this really is that people don't want to do it. They have some preconceived idea, right? And as you do this, you're going to be developing. This is sort of the number 4A. You're going to be developing your Dharma offering, or the way that you market, the wording that you use. So there's a second challenge here in your launch. And that is, I want you to listen to this one very carefully because this one comes up a lot. The second challenge in how you offer something is often that we confuse our tools with the result. And we know what we're going to use to help someone get to a certain place. They're not so interested in that. They just want to know what the result's going to be. You see what I mean? So let me give you an example. When I worked in bodywork, I use energy techniques. I use a lot of elbow grease too, but more energetic stuff than I would normally talk to an athlete about. The athlete just wants to know that it's not going to hurt anymore, right? So as you go into the launch, as you take this perfect course, which might have all that airy-fairy stuff in it, especially we get into this with airy-fairy type stuff, or healers and energy and all of the different tools that we might use. We might use tapping. We might use guided visualization. That's not a powerful marketing tool, a marketing offering. What's powerful is to tell them how it's going to affect their lives. So that's the biggest challenge with the marketing and the launch, is to confuse the tools with the transformation that you're giving. So you want to focus on the transformation for that part. So after you've launched it and gone through the course, then you want to adjust and do it again. Now, I'd say in this fifth step or phase of what you're developing, the biggest problem here is that people don't want to do it. They either feel kind of like, well, I did that, now I'll move on to something else, or they've gotten emotional about how it didn't work out the first time, or some other kind of way of judging what happened last time. And we got to just keep doing it, because even if you're the expert, even if you've taught this offline, in person for a long time, there are little tricks and tips to being online. So you let your clients help you bring out what serves them best. So you got to practice and do it again. Do it 2, 3, 4 times, right? You could do it 3 times a year. You could really get rolling, and then you make it better. That would be part of step 5, is to do it again and make it better. Do it again and make it better. And when it's really, really, really rolling and it works well and you have a lot of response, and maybe then you want to go on to the next project, then that's number 6. And number 6 is to automate it and make it just evergreen, which means that people can buy it recorded and not live, and they'll go through the program that way. And I would say the biggest issue here is that people want to do that too quickly. That the live component is how you learn, it's how you serve. It's a lot of times what people are buying. They just want to, once a week, they want to have access to you live. So that is my 6 phases for creating a course, creating an online business. It's to know yourself and your gifts, and don't forget to ask people. It's number 2, you listen and you ask, and then you listen again. And that's done through surveying and research and learning about all the people that you work with online, watching their responses. Number 3 is actually creating your course, and try not to be too perfect in this first iteration, because your clients will teach you what you need to do, and you're going to learn more and more. Then you launch it. You make an event out of saying, ta-da, and there are steps that lead up to it, and it takes time, and you get people to sign up. And don't forget to remember that you're going to not confuse your tools with your, your tools with your answers or your transformation. So the things that you're going to teach aren't necessarily what's exciting when you're talking about marketing, okay? Number 5 would be to do it again. So if we can remember number 5 from the very beginning, then we get to go, okay, this is just my first time. And the first time has special magic and juju and sparkle, because you're new and your heart's out there and you're like, you're leading and you're strong, but you still got this vulnerability that comes through, and people love that. All right. And then someday you'll get to automate the whole process, and it'll just sit out there and be an asset that you've created through this process. Okay, so those are the 6 steps that go into creating something new. And I want you to kind of take a look at where you are and think about which steps you've really gone into and maybe something that you skipped. And that'll help you see why it isn't working or why you're stuck or how you can go back and address some of those challenges that I talked about. All right, many blessings. Bye-bye.